Good morning, folks, and welcome to FYI. Good morning to you, folks. Wherever you're joining us from today, we are privileged, we're happy. As usual, you folks can join us. We're going to make sure as we come on this morning, we share the live as well. We smash that emoji button too at our end. Good to have so many of you on the live already. It is Tuesday, folks, the 10th day of September. Believe it or not, I had to confirm it there. Heading up to mid-month, folks. So whatever you got to do, you got to bust that move now. Thanks for joining us this morning. How are you folks doing? How was the night that is behind us? Do let us know how was your evening, folks, and how it has the morning started. You hit the ground running? Let us know. Did you hit the ground running? I wish we could get in some exercise in the morning now. Used to be able to. We get up so early to get started with the broadcast. We got to put it aside for another time, another date. Had a great time in the national park over the weekend. Yeah, I had a fantastic time. For matter of fact, in the national park over the weekend. It's big. People got to stick together, right? Debbie and Sharon and the other folks who are joining us. Yep. Us big folks, guys, we got to stick together. Do us a big favor wherever you're joining us from. Share the live, folks. Smash that emoji button as well for us. Do us that big grand favor. Yeah, had a fantastic time recently in the national park. We gotta push ourselves a little bit. Let us know if you're hearing us loud and clear. Claire Alexis, Charmley, Richmond, I see you there. I see Wenda Hudson is here with us too, and Edward Brooms and all the other folks who are joining us today. Great to have each and every one of you on the live, on the broadcast. Those of you who have a different school. We say in the vernacular, you're on the live. Rihanna Mingo. I don't know where we got that from, but that's how we do it here in the 592, folks. We're broadcasting live from the national capital city. Rihanna Mingo says loud and clear. Debbie Collins says loud and clear. Good to have so many of you on the live this morning. Yep. Well, look, y'all, boy and man. I tell you, I was in the park last weekend. Do we have that? I think I have a clip of it. How do you spend your weekend last weekend? Yep. That was our weekend, folks. That was our weekend. How was your? We hope that you all are good, folks. Wherever you're joining us from today, we're dotting the I's and we crossing the T. Great to have all of you on with us today, folks. Wherever you're joining us from, good to see all of you folks on the live. You all know how we do it, how we say it. We're on the live. This will be there. On the live this morning. Good to see you folks. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. Nicola Harding Clark, we see you there. I see Christopher Chichester. Debbie Collins is here. Neville Seedle is here too. Yep. Neville, I'm trying to understand your message there. Is it 100,000 pie in Madia? Half turn away? Is that the cash grant? Tracy Clark and Belinda Halls Anderson. Good to have you there. Those of you joining us on Facebook. Facebook, folks, give us a share. Those who are joining us on the tube as well. Folks, if you're joining us on the tube and you're not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, or if you're not there as yet, you're not yet. Apologies there. We hit the audio right out. If you're not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, folks, we're about to touch 20,000 followers on the tube. We're about to touch 20,000 subscribers. We're almost there. And we want to thank you guys so much. We close. We're close. We're seeing a lot of you watching us on the tube right now. Ensure you hit that subscribe button. Ensure you hit that subscribe button. Wherever you are, folks, wherever you are in the world, if you're joining us on YouTube, even if you're on Facebook, ensure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. You get all the updates. As soon as we post it, you get a notification. Hit that notification bell as well, so that you get the things live and direct. Please and thank you. You know, as you guys are on that whole cash grant issue, how come we're not getting more out of oil and gas, more monies? You know, how come you don't get a little deposit in your account every month? All of these thousands and billions of barrels of oil that we pump in. Now when you're pumping, you must feel something. Things must be a little different than the usual, than the norm. We're pumping so much, nothing happening. Nobody ain't feeling nothing. Better we stop pump. What's the sense of it? What is the sense of it? All this oil. We're pumping and producing and pumping. Nothing to show. And that's why I was so heartened yesterday. For instance, when I heard the PNCR expressing concern at the rate of expansion that Exxon is going after, pumping out everything, because we're seeing it going. And more than that, you know, our government has a responsibility. If they keep plugging a whole host of money in the economy that we can't really and truly spend and take off, you know, they tell us, I'm advised, right? There's something called overheating the economy, drive up prices and all of that. It's more money for them by teeth as well. Corruption is another very, very serious issue. And so I was very heartened when I heard young economist, brilliant mind, Elson Lowe, talking about this whole issue and saying, calm down, Exxon, calm down a little bit. We need to see the plans. We need some data. We need some information that allows us to make informed decisions. I'm happy I learned that early in life. You know, how to balance my emotions. Too many folks run on just emotions. But data is very important. Having all the facts or as much of it so that you can make informed decisions. That's so important. That's so important. Why don't we start off there with that walkthrough of economist Elson Lowe talking about the oil and gas sector and expressing some reserve with the way ExxonMobil has been pursuing this whole issue, folks. Take a look, take a listen. Let's start there. Welcome, guys.
We repeat our call for the government to ensure Guyana gets more oil revenues through more profit oil. The PNCR APNU has noted that ExxonMobil Guyana intends to spend over US $25 billion on the development cost of its next two approved projects, Uaru and Whiptail, which are projected to commence production in 2026 and 2027, respectively. In addition, a seventh project, Hammerhead, is being pursued with first oil expected in 2029. We wish to register our profound concern with this continued high rate of development in three regards. One, our capacity as a nation to monitor, audit, investigate, and enforce standards with regards to these developments and those that are already in production. Two, the greater risk to our environment, more so against the background of the company's continued resistance to lodging complete liability insurance and the EPA and government's cavalier attitude in safeguarding our environment. And three, the fact that with continued large expenditures, cost oil will remain at 75%. Guyana's share of the pie will therefore likely stagnate at 12.5%, royalty excluded. As regards this third concern, we should recall that both Vice President Bharat Jagdeo and President of Exxon Guyana, Alistair Routledge, had indicated earlier this year that Guyana's share of revenues will increase in the very near future as the company recovers more and more of its investment. Accordingly, in our March press conference, we had called on the government to release the company's combined cash flow statement for its first 5 developments. From Eliza Tuwaru. We had cautioned then that, and I quote, the PUP government, in its remaining time in office during this tenure, must ensure this projection materializes to the fullest extent possible. It must therefore not rush to approve new oil projects in the Stabroek Block, which would drive up cost oil and thereby deny Guyana the chance to acquire a greater share of revenues. We repeat those calls today with more urgency. The government must explain how the Guyanese people will obtain more oil revenues in the next few years from a reduction in the company's cost oil, even as the company spends more on additional exploration, appraisal, and development. One other point that we would like to add is that we believe that we should really be building out capacity to ensure that we are able to properly assess these new development proposals and that we are in a position to, first of all, be able to say whether we are in favor, whether we think there are greater benefits and so on to additional proposals, but also so that we can propose for ourselves any adjustments or additions that should be made. We should not be in a position where we're forced only to take what it is that the company shares with us, but rather where we can do our own assessments and make our own proposals. So that building of capacity is something that we believe needs to be done.
That's the Young Economist apologies there. As Young Economist Elson Lowe of the People's National Congress Reform is also the treasurer of that party and advises them as well on all things economic and lays it out there. The consideration why we should, pause for the cause, pause and think what you're doing. Look how much oil we pumped so far since the advent of oil in 2015. The Granger government was in there, put in the framework that these folks can reap the benefit. Suffer that no confidence motion by that bastard Charandas Bisa. And here we are now. These folks spending the largest willy-nilly. Friends, family, and favorites. That's how they're doing it, folks. Friends, family, and favorites. Good to see so many of you on the live today. How you all doing? Christopher Chichas, I see you there. Brenda Moore and John Jones. Folks, I feel wonderful. It's good weather outside. I hope you guys are great as well. Terrence Beaton and Valerie Clark. You got up this morning. You got a little exercise. You got your stretches in. You got your devotion done. I got to pick up back on my devotion. Lisbeth Narayan, did I see you? Did I see you there? I got to pick up back on my devotion. I'm talking to anybody. You did the devotion this morning? What's the scripture reading today? What has the Lord laid on your heart? Osman Hodge. Naomi Drucker. Good to see you there. And Osman and Karen. Naomi wanted with Charandas. I wanted the same thing. Camille Cox. Good morning. Good to see you there. Good morning, Camille. And Godfrey Montaigne. Good to have you. Marjorie. Babu Ram and Euclid Lambert. All our favorite folks. Good to have you there. Laverne Harrichuran, Kalman Passat. It's one person, folks. It's one person. Godfrey and Wenda. Naomi, good to see you. Yep. Let me say she's on a walk. She's on a walk right now. Folks, you got to look after you. Number one, start there. Right? Not to the detriment of any other responsibility that you might have. But folks, we got to learn to put on our own mask first. Yeah, I saw somebody saying in a comment when I posted that video exercising in the national park over the weekend. Don't run something. No. I ain't subscribing to that. I love running. I love jogging. I'm not a big, athlete or anything like that. But I love stretching my sexy legs, how, right? I love running. Folks, I was on a marathon, I was on a 5K, leisurely 5K course. I haven't seen them celebrate it in a little while. I don't know if it's off or just I haven't been following. But on this 5K, Yvette Moore, Kim Batson, Donna Daly, on this 5K, I do my thing, drinking my water, minding my own business and so on. At the tail end. And I see a big fella. This guy got to be pushing, I would average, youngest he could be is 60. Right? Oldest about 70. And that guy blazed past me. He said, what's up? You know? So the contention that you're big, you got to stop running. No, no, if your foot good, your knees, your one good knee, all right, do what you got to, of course, with the considerations for your health and your doctor's supervision and all of that. But you got to put on your own mask first before we could put on the mask of other folks. And if we want longevity in this business, Naomi should walk right now. Margaret must see heading back from run by Elizabeth was the place, the battery, heading back home, herself and Rio from the battery. Right? Naomi said she did 2 NYC marathons in her 40s. Well, I thought in your 40s, so it's way telling me here, Naomi. We're telling me here. If it more, we gotta put on our own mask first before we put on that of any other. As we start, folks, let's touch on Latin America a little bit. Right? They tell us Latin America is a dangerous place for environmentalists. Very dangerous. If you love the environment, you might want to not Colombia. Come to Colombia. Beautiful place. I plan to go back. I'm not a nightclub person, but I was taken. I was escorted to a nightclub in Colombia. They sure they say what happened in Cartagena. Right? Stays there. Fantastic. If at more so I get too scatterfoot, girl, it's too weak. It's two of us. Look how you distracted me now, Yvette. Look how you distracted. Beautiful country. I remember going up to Montserrat, one of the high peaks there, and seeing this stage car, ambling up the mountainside there. And as it got up to the top, you're just in awe at the beauty of God. When you say we put together this place we call a planet, how we stitch it together. I said, wow, being up there, Montserrat, and looking down, there was a beautiful church there. You're so high up sitting in that church. It's like you could touch the face of God in that place. The only place I haven't felt equally close to God like that is pretty place, Elizabeth, down by your end there. Is it North Carolina? Pretty place. There's a church on the mountainside. There's no wall. The stage has a wall. There's no wall. It's just the beauty on this mountain looking out. And a big cross is right. It's so beautiful right there. Confess all your sins one time. Colombia, beautiful place. But they're telling us this morning is one of the deadliest country, or it was deadliest country, the deadliest country for environmentalists. Why do you want to kill environmentalists? It boggles the mind. 79 deaths recorded in Colombia. But listen to this piece of information. Latin America, broadly, they're telling us, accounted for 85% of global killings of environmentalists. Yeah, 85% Latin America. So people from Latin America, we don't like the environment too much and so on. And this is according to a Reuters investigation that found that murders of environmentalists have an equally negative impact on conservation efforts. Yep. Yvette, Sabrina Blue, they tell us this is one of the issues they're going to be focusing on at the United Nations, this big annual event called, is it annual or is biannual? COP16, Biodiversity Conference in Colombia, is going to honor those who were killed. 79 persons. Yep, thus far. Believe it or not. Deadly place for environmentalists. Listen, hold on. Bricks up. Gail and Beatrice. Right? Beatrice says she's walked every day to Jamaica Avenue and back to her home in Queens, New York. Yeah. Get the exercise. Don't let anybody tell you nothing. Right? Longevity, I want to live to 115. So 120, the young lady in the interior we featured recently. Don't anybody tell anything differently. Keep yourself healthy as long as you can. I'm at least closer to home now. Lost my thoughts somewhere there. But on matters closer to us, library look bad at all. It's not their library, by the way. But you know, we're coming down close election. When you see a flurry of activities, or in the case of the PPP, people moving helter skelter, busy, busy. I've learned a long time, folks, that acceleration, that's the word I was looking for, it's not the same as progress. You will have a lot of movement, but you got a lot of progress. That's his government. And he running around the place like a headless chicken. But do we have real progress? Do we? Do we have real progress? Look, government has just launched a library drive of sorts. It's incredible. A primary school library initiative. They're hoping to combat illiteracy. Enough of you went out of government. And you're all studying this thing. You're being a good opposition. Soon as you go in, you can say whap, 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 whap. This is what you need to do. Vanilla Garnet, Yvette, and Oret Bentic, this is what you need to do. But now these guys, 4 years in, suddenly they won't combat illiteracy. You gotta combat it in Priya Pus. She's a preposition. You gotta combat it there first. Remember, Priya was trying to spell what was the word? Hypocrites. She spelled it hypocrite. Folks, Ghana is the greatest country. It is the greatest country in the world. In the world. That's like the Trinity said. I don't know if you recognize it, but for the Trinities, everything is the greatest in the world in Trinidad. We got the greatest food in the world, the greatest nightclubs, the greatest government, the greatest stadium, athletes. Guyana, never dull moment. So they're trying to combat literacy with this library initiative. And they're telling us that the goal is to provide access to books and resources for primary school students. 4 years in, when they're about to come out. We went into the literacy program. This is like when they're coming out the administration a long time. The last time they started share out the oil blocks and so. You know how, Dolly, Marlin, Neville, Redmond, Alexis, you know how. That's how to do it. Fed up with them. Honest to God, I'm fed up. Fed up with the whole pack of them. Margaret, you went battery this morning, girl? How is Rio? How is Rio? You went to battery yet? You come back or you're on your way? Good morning, folks. Good morning. Good morning, South and North Carolina. Good morning, diaspora. Queens, New York, Brooklyn, New York. Good morning to you, folks. Oh, yes. It's now the train. Giddy up. Giddy up. Giddy up. And the Little Pony Express. Jesus. Moving on, folks. Other issues we're watching out this morning. Another set piece. It's election. You see some strange headlines in the media. Thanks to the Ministry of Agriculture for letting aid. Thanks to the Ministry of Agriculture. They said they've been digging drains in a little shady mood this morning. Agriculture. So they've been digging some drains and so I thought this is what it's supposed to do. I don't know. Ministry of Agriculture says that it's in a collaboration with the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority. I thought it falls under the Ministry of Agriculture. It's a permanent collaboration. I don't know. I thought that's an entity under the ministry. But the ministry says in collaboration with the NDIA, it has initiated a project to dredge the Tabachinga Creek in Lethem to provide the region's improved drainage for the region, rather. To provide improved drainage, right? And to eradicate flooding. It's interesting, Chanel. I hear your voice in a little while. It's interesting, Chanel, that before the rainy season, it's like upside down. It's like a little packly. I thought these are things you do in preparation for the rainy season. Didn't we see the prayer fish flood out and float away? They had to do a makeshifting. We were there and let them stood at that prayer bridge. Residents told us we are concerned the rainy season is going to come. This bridge wouldn't finish. When we were there, nothing was happening. Nothing was happening at the bridge. Now they're running to Dredge Creek. This is how you know election season is upon us. Shannon, what are you doing for this election season? You're in front, you're at the side, you're at the back. You know if we don't do this thing, nobody can do it for us. Nobody can. Which part of the field you are this election? You know it's election coming, man. When you see. Quick. It's Rio birthday today. Happy birthday, Rio. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Rio. Rio's a fantastic fella. Fantastic gentleman. Kind to the fault. Right? Kind to the fault. Hope Margaret don't dispute me there. Kind to the fault. Happy birthday, Rio. We wish you live to see many more. May this be the start of a definitive year in your life. Definitive. All your dreams, hopes and dreams, you're closer to realizing them. You know, those that are still outstanding, you're closer. So we saw this missive, you know, thanks to the Ministry of Agriculture for the Let Them Help. It's like a favor. It's like a favor they're doing. You know, this is, of course, is going to help. They said to protect crops and livestock farmers from severe losses caused by waterlogged fields and pastures. This is, the people done suffer the losses, you know. Chili G and June and Loretta Argyle. The people done suffer the losses. They're hoping they can do this retroactively now. Right. The rainy season had the people in a massive confusion there. To use a cliche that I would never use. But had them in massive confusion. Now they gone into the partnership, Ministry of Agriculture, the NDIA. Interesting editorial in today's Kaicho News. How are you doing there, Andrew Griffith? Joggy and Dawn. How are the boys doing this morning? Bennett, good to see you on the live, and Kurt and Gail. An interesting editorial. This is Sabric News, if I remember correctly. Y'all help me out there, man. Help out y'all, boy. Sabric News editorial. It's interesting as it talks about the contracts, and the rise of the contractor class, and the corruption. Because, you know, they are so married under the PPP. They're so married. In this editorial, I recommend it for your own reading when you're doing your mid-morning coffee and your stretches and so on. When you're luxuriating after your day settled down. Sabric News highlights here the chronic inability of the PP government to plan and execute developmental projects effectively. Isn't this the boys? In Sabric News, talking the things here, but the boys, chronic inability to plan and execute developmental projects. Sabric News says, resulting in compromised state funding contracts and mismanagement of public funds. Y'all disagree? Earlier English? You disagree? I don't disagree. That sounds like them to me. Mismanagement of public funds. In this editorial, Sabric News talks about the government preference for, as the British would say, getting on with it and avoiding accountability. This Sabric News says is driven by an abundance of funding from the country's petrol fortunes, thanks to the Granger administration. You know, the former president doesn't get the kudos that he deserves. Them boys came in and met so many things in the pipeline because David Granger and his team sat down and hammered out that production sharing agreement, hammered out the what you call it, the Natural Resource Fund, the architecture. Sadly, we had to leave office. A lot of people didn't want us to leave. You know, a lot of people still vexed. I still hear that up to now. People still vexed with Granger. People don't forgive easy. You talk about your God. God think you Jesus. Jesus think. People are forgiving easy. They're holding that against Granger. Going down fighting, No. We ain't going home. They're forgiving. They ain't forgiving Granger boy. Right? Shakespeare. The good. Horace Calder. Naomi Drucker. The good. That men do. It's enter with your bones when you're gone. Right? It starts the other way. The evil that men do. Live long after them. The good. If they're gone with you. I often hear that everywhere. Granger should hold on a little more. You ain't holding on with he. We can't forget you little boots on the ground. Can't forget to share the live. But smash the emoji button. But you know Granger should hold on a little more. But he hammered out all those things. Let me move on. I want. Take the coffee. Abundance of Petro-Carib fund. Not Petro-Carib. Petro funds. Funds and fortune. Friends, family, and favorites. And if we don't we act together, them boys coming back for another 5 years to spend more of the money, And they can be more brutal. Or they better get you all act together and stop this nonsense. I see like everybody is stand still. I see like Chanel is only me. I mean, we got some movements, but movements is not always the same as progress. How are we going to this election? We're going as a coalition or not? It's 200% coalition. I tell you all already. I ain't going out there for cause Chanel, but she could cost more than me anyhow. I ain't going out there for cause Manzo or Vince Roy or Vincent Henry or me. Oh, I got a couple people living in my head. A schizophrenic. One day we hug up nice. Let me go along the road, forward ever. The next day. No. We're not doing that. Right? We're not doing that. Forward ever. Marlon said on mute. We gotta get we act together. Or else you can get more misuse of contracts, more corruptionism under them boys. We don't want that. Or else together we stand. Valerie Clark, Naomi. Right? Naomi got a comment there. Watching you. Watch your comment there, Naomi. That's the blue, Gwen Anderson. Look. As another symptom of this upside down country that we got. It's after the rainy season, then by going and clear creeks and canals. It's after the girls die. It's then they're looking now to enhance safety measures at these creeks. There's another editorial today. This is the Gallon Times editorial. After the fact, we say upside down. People don't say upside down. We say upsided. It's an upside down country. After the fact. After. Then we go. How can I help? Let me have your bucks all over your head. Bucks all over your heads. Of course, 10-year-old Akira LaRose, she was celebrating her birthday on Sunday with her cousin and other members of their family. Her cousin Joylyn Jack. This Enchanted Creek, something by that name. Enchanted Creek. They're all there with family and friends celebrating her turning 10. My. The young ladies disappeared. A search was mounted. They were pulled from that water, rushed to the Diamond Diagnostic Center. Pronounced dead. It's now them boys. Right? Trying to, what do you call it? Trying aiming at coordinated efforts among government agencies to establish safety protocols, including lifeguards, proper signage, and public education on water safety. This is the problem. This is the problem. This is the problem. You know, backwards until now. Hopefully, we could save some lives soon. Is it too late? Hopefully, we could save some lives. We don't believe in public education. So I doubt we believe in education, period. We don't believe in it. Look, you see the jumping bird roundabout? You see the jumping bird roundabout? Every morning is chaos and confusion. Chaos and confusion. I can't remember seeing, any public education, how you must use this piece of technology here. Y'all know Guyanese and easy. Huh? Y'all know Guyanese and easy. One of the roads that leads into the roundabout, they got blocked it now in the morning. Nobody wants to give way. Listen, once traffic is in the roundabout, vehicles, the ones entering it must give way to the traffic. No, no, no. That's for other countries. That's not here. Right? The amount of vehicles that have turned turtle in that one roundabout. That one crossing Jumbie roundabout since they put it up. And yet, you won't see a sign to slow down. I mean, it's like common sense too. But when you know who you're dealing with, I always ask God for that. To know what you're dealing with. You don't know what you're dealing with, people that can make all kinds of things. Now, I'm saying she's still waiting on the Irfan road accident efforts. It's true. We all wait. You saw the man run out the other day for press conference. And Gordon Mosley, Big Uncle Gordon so shady. Gordon said in an article, in a white t-shirt, Mark Boss, how you could take Irfan serious? How you could take... When I see Irfan, it's like Irfan just roll out of bed. Right? Roll out of bed. I feel like he was sleepwalking. And you addressing the nation on national television. You got on a little nice tight up t-shirt. You even got on your trainees. Nothing. Right? What was marked at the front of it? Something and boss at the bottom. It's a pack of madness. How you gonna take them serious? Valerie? How you gonna take him serious? It'd be one thing if Irfan was a little off. It'll be one thing, Gwyneth Anderson, Jilly G, Gil Alicock, Wendy Caesar. But Marcy Agard, Irfan wrong from all angles. Any angle you come at Irfan, he wrong. He wrong all over. Wrong all over. Some of the things we're following. Traffic. He asked the question, Naomi, where from there? Man had some loud promises. Loud promises. How he's going to do things. Loud promises. Let me remind you all of one. As Naomi picks your teeth. Let me remind you all of one.
Carnage on our roads will be greeted with a robust road safety and traffic management plan. I intend to have a national conversation on this issue within the coming days. Out of that conversation, new laws, regulation, measures, and technology will be implemented to stop the carnage on our roads.
Yep, that was Old Year's Day. That was Old Year's Day into New Year's. We're still holding. We're in a holding pattern. Brace it over. We hold in here fun. We hold in. That's why you don't put your stock in man, because we understand that the promises of God, yeah and amen. But these Jacobats and trench rappers, you can't trust them at all. I'm happy with the efforts of the police traffic department under Mahindra, what's his surname? The traffic chief. You know, they seem to be heading in the right direction. If only they had the support. 500 traffic charges. A lot of it was speeding. Since all that you all seeing happening on the roads that we got, all is still speeding, man. All that you see, you're speeding. Father of his mercies. I better slow down and arrive alive. Slow down. My alma mater, folks. I've been to UG. I ain't fall out second year, Kirfan. It's true, he fell out second year. Right? Those who can do UG, they do Eiffel University. UG says it has added 30 new programs and some very, very relevant folks. Some of them focus on the oil and gas sector, for instance. They've added the Institute of Marine and Environmental Law. This aims to address the labor crisis in the industry. And the overall, in these new courses, UG is hoping to graduate 500 to 700 students in the next 4 years, preparing students for the sectors that matter. I want to say kudos to UG. Always good news there in the press. They said they've also launched the Institute for Energy Diplomacy, right? Offering courses in energy markets and transport and trading. You know, up with the times. You gotta love that about them. You know, you gotta love that about them. According to the university, that these developments were made in response to the country's expanding oil and gas sector, and to produce graduates who will lead Guyana's energy future. Not Vikram and Jagdeo. Not Vikram and Jagdeo. You know what fascinates me is the matter-of-fact way in which Jagdeo speaks to oil and gas issues. The matter-of-fact way. And so he's the only oil and gas expert, not only in Guyana, in the world. You know? And sometimes the man don't know one thing he's talking about. Usually adding some new program. He should go and sign up. Kudos to the university. He should go and sign up. Look story now. According to Kwame McCoy, a Jamaican minister, former information minister, he was here when government launched the Media Academy or some foolishness like that. They want to invest in UG's Media Academy. They're looking at. You got a whole Center for Communication Studies. Upside down. Kwame is claiming, the ex-minister of Jamaica is claiming that Savic News was not true to his comments that he made. Right? That's what Kwame arguing here. The former Jamaican information minister is one Robert Nestor Morgan, and it's alleged he has criticized Savic News for using his comments out of context to support its narrative on press freedom. Of course, according to Kwame, right, they got press freedom that would rival the United States. According to Kwame, right, who has now accused Savic News of unfair criticism and impugning the character of this former minister from Jamaica. And this is on as regards to some comments the minister made while he was here a couple of months ago, and Savic News' characterization of those comments regarding press freedom. Here, Kwame naman, that the PPP's efforts have been to create a conducive environment for media operations, citing accessible press conferences and robust access to information. Robust access to information. what's his name? Who would try to get information from the information commissioner, the commissioner of information? He'd ever get it? The fellow who was with Anog and then he'd move to some place, he'd ever get it? So Kwame run out touting their robust access to information and training initiatives for journalists. And he's come out to castigate Stabrook News. Like the lines were changed a little crazy recently when I heard them talking about grave concerns about the government expanding the Cybercrime Act. Was it me? These folks have used that act, misused that act to subdue and to repress freedom of expression. And they want around here and talk to us about freedom of the press. The folks who suspend ads going to Stabrook News because they want to cripple Stabrook News and put them out of business. The folks that call journalists and reporters in this country vultures and a number of other things. These same folks, these same people, folks, listen to their lines for change. Express grave reservation on this cybercrime issues. This is the real sanctimonious gangsters you got here, you know. They're defending the Jamaican minister while perpetrating some of the most dastardly acts in this country against freedom of expression. That's the folks for you. Take a look, take a listen. Live lines to change night to use this issue of the cybercrime legislation and them wanted to expand on it.
I think it's important that we look at the origins of the Cybercrime Act, and this is the international treaty. The first treaty on this was back in 2001. It was the Budapest Treaty, and that wasn't a treaty actually. It was a convention on cybercrime. And that convention, and I forgive me for going through this in detail, but I think people should know this, dealt with literally 5 areas. It was illegal access to a computer, illegal interception of information, data interference, system interference, and misuse of devices. Under the heading misuse of devices, it had absolutely nothing to do with the issue of defamation. What the present government is attempting to do is to criminalize defamation. Defamation allows you a civil remedy. So if someone libels you or defames you, you're entitled to go to court and get damages. What the present government is doing is giving a criminal sanction to what in effect was a civil wrong, which you had to go to court. The problem with that is that it now becomes a tool in the arm of the state that will be used to prosecute, stifle, and silence people the government want to get rid of. And there's no better case that I can refer to than the case of Shara Duncan. Why would you want to criminalize somebody because they went to social media and called you a trench crapo? If you are offended by that term, the law provides you with a civil remedy. You sue the person. You sue the person. You bring an action for defamation. But to make that criminal, it means now, one, it gives the prosecution of any of these offenses under the existing legislation a very wide discretion to prosecute anybody. And invariably, this has always been used, as we've seen recently, only to silence people who either criticize the government or criticize the police force. We've had a series of charges against Dion Bascom. We have seen what has happened to Shara Duncan. And in essence, they have now criminalized what for centuries has been a civil wrong. There are very few countries in the world that seek to silence their citizens because they seek to defame. If someone defames you, the appropriate remedy lies in a suit for damages. It doesn't lie in giving the prosecution and the Guyana Police Force, which I just said enjoys an exceedingly sterling reputation, the power to be able to prosecute someone, even if they may not be successful, from the time the arrest and the trauma that person goes through before they get acquitted. They have to spend significant resources, they have to go to court, and they have to suffer the public humiliation of having been charged. So, particularly in the light of what has happened under the Cybercrime Act, the way in which it has been deployed, or the prosecution of people by the state has been used, we have very grave reservations, very, very grave reservations about anything looking like an expansion of the cybercrime bill. I believe during the previous administration, when the bill was actually passed, there was strong internal criticism about it. And we believe, and we've expressed this before, that the time has come to repeal several aspects, particularly Section 19 of the cybercrime bill. Any expansion now is a grave potential trespass on the rights guaranteed under the Constitution to its citizens, and in keeping with the thrust of the Budapest Convention from 2001, we believe it should be limited to those areas. It should not be used to prosecute defamation. The other difficulty with Guyana is that given our very, very fragile and fractured state here, anybody that says anything that may remotely be interpreted as causing concern can find themselves charged for cybercrime, because it's very subjective to the victim and does not provide the protections to the of fair trial and due process to the persons who are charged.
Mischaracterizing. Apologies there. I was only saying. You haven't missed anything. You haven't missed anything. I was only saying that the same folks who have misused and bastardized and everything that's bad, the Cybercrime Act, out of context, out of time and use of that act, the same folks, they now want to be castigating Sabuk News about the Jamaican minister. It's funny, it's laughable. It's laughable. But thanks for joining us this morning. We're going to leave it there, Sabrina Blue. Yvette and Lionel Simon, apologies there. We're going to leave it there for Nell Innes and Anthony Jarvis, Elise and all the other folks. Chanel Beaton, Forbes Meduse. Good to see you on the live this morning, folks. Good to see all of you here. Have a fantastic day, folks. Don't let nobody steal your joy. Get in your little exercise. Whatever you're going to be doing this morning after the show, you're on to another program, you're on to another place. Put in some reading too, some exercise. You're number one for it. Put on your own mask before you put on anybody else's. Please and thank you. We're going to see you guys in the next one. Have a fantastic day and take care. Stay safe, folks. Stay safe. Stay safe. Have a great day. See you guys.